Imagine you're starving. Not skipped breakfast, hungry, actually starving. It's been days since you've eaten anything real. You're walking through the woods, and you see it. A dead deer, still fresh, meat on the bone. A wolf would eat it without hesitation. A hyena would tear into it on sight. Vultures would already be circling, fighting each other for the first bite. So why wouldn't you? You're an animal too. You need protein. You need calories. Right now, in this moment, that carcass is the difference between surviving the week and not surviving it. And yet something in you recoils. Something deep, something almost older than thought itself, says, don't. That reaction feels automatic, instinctive. But here's the strange part. It's not actually about the meat being gross. That explanation is the one most people land on, and it's only the surface. There's a much deeper story underneath it, one that runs through evolution, disease, fire, and the very reason your brain works the way it does. Let's start with the obvious answer, the one everyone gives first. Disease. Dead animals carry threats you can't see. Bacteria, parasites, toxins that build up the moment an animal stops breathing. The moment death happens, the body's defenses shut off, and decomposition takes over almost instantly. That sounds like the whole answer. It's not. Not even close. Here's where it gets weird. Other scavengers, vultures, hyenas, even some insects eat decaying meat constantly and barely get sick. Vultures have stomach acid so strong it can dissolve anthrax and botulism, threats that would kill a human in days. Their digestive systems evolved specifically to handle the bacteria swarming inside a rotting carcass. Humans never developed that. And that's strange, because for a huge stretch of our evolutionary history, we needed meat just as badly as they did. So if disease alone explained the aversion, you'd expect humans to either avoid all meat or evolve the same defenses scavengers have. We didn't do either. We did something else entirely. We learned to smell it. This is layer 2, and it's more interesting than it sounds. Humans have an unusually precise sense for detecting decay. The compounds released by rotting flesh, specifically 2 chemicals called putrescine and cadaverine, trigger a disgust response in the human brain that is faster and stronger than almost any other smell reaction we have. Scientists have tested this. When people smell these compounds, even in tiny amounts, their pupils widen, their heart rate shifts, and brain scans show activation in regions tied to threat detection, not just smell processing. Your brain isn't just noticing a bad smell, it's sounding an alarm. That's not an accident. That's a survival tool, built by thousands of generations of trial and error. But here's the part nobody tells you. That alarm wasn't built for animals. It was built for us. Go back far enough, and one of the biggest threats to early humans wasn't predators. It was other dead humans. Disease spreads fastest through decomposing human remains, and early hominins who avoided any corpses survived sickness at far higher rates than those who didn't. The aversion to decay didn't start as a rule about animals. It started as a rule about death itself. Animal carcasses just got swept into the same warning system, because to an ancient nose, rotting flesh is rotting flesh, regardless of species. That's layer 3, and it changes the whole question. We're not just talking about food safety anymore. We're talking about an ancient alarm system that treats decomposition as a category of danger, full stop. Now, here's the surprising part. Humans weren't always this cautious. Early hominins, the ancestors that came long before modern humans, were scavengers, real scavengers. Evidence from cut marks on ancient bones shows our ancestors were eating leftover carcasses millions of years ago, sometimes ones that predators had already opened up. We weren't picky. We couldn't afford to be. So what changed? Fire changed. This is layer 4, and it might be the most important one. Once early humans learned to cook meat, something extraordinary happened. Heat killed the bacteria that made scavenged meat dangerous. Suddenly, meat that would have been a death sentence, raw, became survivable cooked. But cooking did something else too, something subtler. It made caution profitable. Before fire, the calculation was simple. Eat the carcass or starve. Risk versus certainty. After fire, humans had a choice. They could afford to hesitate, inspect, decide. The species that paused, that smelled the meat, judged its freshness, weighed the risk, started outliving the species that didn't. In other words, disgust stopped being a barrier to survival. It became a tool for it. That's the twist most people never hear. We didn't develop an aversion to rotting meat because we got weaker or pickier over time. We developed it because we got smart enough to use caution as a strategy instead of taking blind risks. Compare that to a vulture. A vulture doesn't choose to eat carrion. It's built to. There's no decision-making involved, no weighing of risk, no internal debate. Its body is the safety system. Humans built something different. Our safety system isn't biological armor. It's judgment. It's the pause before action, disgust, hesitation, smell, instinct working together to make a decision before the danger ever touches our mouths. That's not weakness. That's an entirely different survival strategy. And it's one of the reasons our species spread into nearly every environment on Earth while staying biologically fragile in ways other predators aren't. Now, here's where it gets stranger still. This caution didn't stay simple. As human groups grew larger and societies formed, the rule against eating decayed meat turned into something bigger than instinct. It became culture. Almost every ancient society on record developed some version of food taboos tied to decay, freshness, and the handling of dead animals. Religious texts, tribal customs, early medical writings, all of them independently arrive at similar warnings. Eat it fresh. Don't eat it found dead. Cook it properly. Don't eat what looks wrong or smells wrong. These weren't random superstitions. They were survival knowledge, passed down because the groups who ignored them didn't survive long enough to pass down anything at all. Scientists call this kind of inherited caution a cultural biological feedback loop. Biology creates an instinct. Culture reinforces it with rules. Those rules protect biology, round and round, generation after generation, until the instinct feels less like learned behavior and more like pure nature. That's why, today, you don't need anyone to explain disease transmission to you. You don't need a microbiology lecture. You just look at roadkill, and your whole body says no, before your brain even finishes the thought. That reaction has been refined for hundreds of thousands of years. It's not random, it's not weakness. It's compressed ancestral memory, built into your nervous system before you ever had a single conscious thought about it. And this is where the story flips completely. We started this video assuming the answer would be something simple, gross, disgusting, unsafe. All true, but all surface level. The real answer is something far bigger. Humans don't avoid dead animals because we're squeamish. We avoid them because somewhere in our evolutionary past, the humans who hesitated, who smelled first, who judged freshness, who waited instead of devouring, survived long enough to have children. And those children inherited the same hesitation. Every other scavenger on Earth solved the carrion problem with biology. Stronger stomach acid, tougher immune systems, bodies built to withstand decay. Humans solved it with something else entirely: awareness. The ability to sense danger before experiencing it. The ability to say no to something that might keep us alive today because saying yes might kill us tomorrow. That single decision-making ability discussed working as foresight may be one of the quiet, overlooked reasons humans became the dominant species on the planet, while far stronger and far better equipped animals stayed locked into smaller ecological niches. So the next time you see a dead animal on the side of the road and feel that instant wave of aversion, understand what's actually happening. That's not your body being weak. That's hundreds of thousands of years of ancestors who survived long enough to pass that exact reaction down to you. It's not disgust. It's inheritance.